different page here, so sorry about that. Let me go drop the link in the old chat for anybody who still may be over there. Okay. Anyway, so we're back. I just dropped the link over in the old chat if anybody was like AFK and didn't hear me say that I had to restart it. So hopefully they should all be coming over here. Yeah, so I was actually helping a friend of mine set up their OBS earlier today. And so I was poking around my own settings trying to like coach them through like, okay, go to this menu and then change this thing. And I had messed up my own settings accidentally. I didn't notice that I'd messed up my own settings. And then when I went live, I had like a whole bunch of dropped frames, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I figured out that the thing I didn't my encoding rate I didn't change back. So we fixed that, and so now we're gonna be back. Okay. All that is technical mumbo jumbo for just had to quickly restart. But unfortunately, the way YouTube handles streams is that it's like a separate like event, like a different like page even, which is like super weird. So it's like going to show up as like two separate things, two separate casted events. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, sorry about that. So. Starting at 59? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, wanted to start a full 10-minute break. That is totally fine. Perfect time for me to take the reset stream and get everyone back in here before we start up. I guess you could play Scrappies doing it higher than 4th. It does seem like Scrappies is a very popular strategy. Admittedly, I have I found that you can find success other than with Scrappies. It's possible. But, yeah, Scrappies are quite powerful. It does look like everyone is actually in and readied up, so we're going to be going right into in mode here. We're going to be watching HDPG for this this game, because as the winner of the previous game, we will be following them. And then probably for the 4th and 5th game of the night, I'm going to be going more into a like not looking at chat mode and like super focused casting mode, just because I do want to take some of this footage and put it into its own standalone video, and so I'll be recording it as if it were its own video, but I'll do that for subsequent ones, for games 4 and 5, or maybe just game 4 if I think that one's good enough. But if that one is not very good, I want to have the ability to do game 5 as well to kind of fix it up. Okay. Some people are slowly trickling in here. Unfortunately, I really hate having to restart stream like that, especially with the way YouTube works, but that'll just show me to double, triple check all my settings here before we start stream up in the future. But I know I was getting some dropped frames, which was probably a problem for viewer experience for sure. So, HDPG here has a first turn like Brute Alliance. It's often paired with Brawnies, but not in this case. Has chosen to go for Queen of Pain over the Chaos Knight. I think I kind of prefer Chaos Knight a bit, but they're very comparable. Demons are very strong in the early game, just because they do have lots of damage. They deal lots of damage. Chaos Knight's pretty tanky. That's a triple tiny. You got to imagine they're going to pick up 3 tinies here and put that in probably over the Queen of Pain here. Still, there you go. Pick up the tiny. Put that in. You get the brute bonus. Probably want to move this talisman over to the Tiny just because it got more evasion, but keeping on a Brute also means that this Brute's going to apply the debuff a little bit more. He's going up against It's Martini as a pair of Beastmasters and a Pudge. I actually think this is a very good build, the Brawnies and Brutes, that It's Martini is likely looking to go to with early pair of Beastmasters here. We'll see if that build actually develops that way, or if they're just going to go back into the scrappy build that everyone kind of goes for. So I mean, to point out the minor misplays. No. You're doing great. Doing great already. So this is Declanbot is on a 2-0 win streak so far. Declanbot is like so all the bots are programmed to go for certain strategies. So it's Declanbot is apparently programmed to go for Scrappies, which is kind of ironic because Scrappies are just like the strongest strategy right now, and they're also going to compete with everybody else for Scrappies. So who knows? Declanbot may actually not finish 8th this game. We'll have to see. No promises, of course. HDPG here, though, off to a really good start with this this Brutes plus Tiny. Tiny is just good on his own, but is up against a 2-star Clockwork, and he was looking really good until all the guys got to the Clockwork, who also has 30% lifesteal. Because that wasn't, because the Scrappy bonus plus the bonus armor plus the 2 stars wasn't enough, and no win streak for you. I am very excited to see what It's Martini does. Has the 2-star Beastmaster already. Like, I know we want to just follow one player, but like, I'm really excited to see where this Beastmaster build goes. I think this is a really great start. Like, already has Heartless and Brutes and Brawny. Ugh, this is so good. Anyway, HTPG here. Also picking up some Heartless, maybe thinking a similar-ish approach. Obviously, Lifestealer being a Heartless Brute is going to lend itself towards that type of strategy here. But really no other 2-stars other than this Tiny that was like 3 of Tinies that you have to pick. So a little bit lacking direction here in round 4. It's a little hard to say where this is going. Maybe going towards Warriors even. I mean, Warriors are maybe not the premier defensive alliance compared to Scrappies, but I think Warriors are a little bit underrated. Tiny's great in the early game. Pudge used to be one of the best units in the game, and then he got hit with like 5 nerfs in a row. And now he's just like very mediocre. But like Slarder and Tusk, great warriors. Juggernaut, been hit with some buffs, great warrior. So maybe a warriors kind of approach. Does have Abaddon. I guess it's probably the best unit of the ones that are remaining on the bench, but a 1-star Abaddon does not excite. There's an Omni in the shop if they're looking to go towards a more Knights focused build. There's also Legion Commander, my favorite unit in the game. Of course, this build doesn't really lend itself towards Legion Commander, but I just like saying Legion Commander because who doesn't like a good Legion Commander every now and then? Is Sleep just like AFK? Or is Sleep actually playing? I feel like Sleep may be AFK. We may have an AFK player in this game, which is like not ideal. I assume they were just going for a losing streak, but like it seems like they're actually just not playing. So okay, well, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but that is where we're at. Admittedly, like a losing streak to this point is not the worst, It's like I didn't immediately think, oh, something's up, until this point when I'm like, they still haven't done anything. You just got kicked. You just got disconnected. Interesting. This may be a cursed game. We have multiple people disconnected here. Well, you just got a draw against Declanbot, for what it's worth. So, I don't know if that's good or bad for you. Apple Watch, jeez. Well, this is something. I'm glad I didn't choose to start casting this game. Or, like, you know, casting to record. But I do sympathize that it is problematic for you to get back in. So, while you attempt to reconnect here, I want to hop over... Well, you did take a win against the other AFK opponent here, so that's something. I do want to take a look at It's Martini, who's got what I think is just the coolest build, which it's probably my... It's one of my favorite builds. Is this Brawny, Brutes, Heartless. If you get an early 2-star Beastmaster, I wrote about this in my recent column on QIHL. Those of you who haven't read it, you can hop over to QIHL where I write articles. I included this kind of composition in there. I guess I didn't really highlight as much Heartless as I probably could have, but I did mention Brutes. This Brawny Brute build is pretty powerful when it comes together. I guess I didn't really put any Heartless in there as much as I could have, but whatever. This early Beastmaster 2-star is like super feast or famine, and if you get them early, they really do take over the game. But they don't come till later. It's pretty bad. Looks like HTPG is back. Doesn't look like Sleep is still gone, unfortunately. That's not great. They did ready up and they started the game, so I don't know. Anyway, back to HTPG here. So let's see. They're running a Heartless Brutes. Doesn't have quite as many Brawnies and would definitely be really late to the party if they did get a Beastmaster online. Certainly compared to It's Martini in this game. But I don't think that's necessarily a defining factor. It could be looking at going towards like 4 or even 6 Heartless. I am not totally opposed to that. I think the idea of like a 4/6 Heartless build is actually a decent counter to some Scrappies in some extent. Scrappies, like, yes, they have some bonus armor, but if you shoot through that, they're really pretty squishy. And they don't really have quite as much damage output into the very late stages of the game to like burn through your lack of defensive alliances. At least to the later stages when they get Gyrocopters and Medusas 2-starred. So I think there's definitely a point in the game where 4/6 Heartless, mainly 6 because that's a huge bonus over 4, is actually a counter to Scrappies. And we do see a pickup of an all-out attack Enno, who is very good with 6 Heartless because Heartless is physical armor reduction. You know, armor reduces physical damage, and Enno's poison and all-out attack all deals physical damage. Everything about Enno is physical damage. Even though it's poison, it's physical. So it's actually a really good combo with more Heartless alliances here. I do think Heartless kind of struggles, until they get 2-star units, right? Like running a 1-star Abaddon is just not exciting. 1-star Drow Ranger, not exciting. 1-star Shattered even, not exciting. But it may be in service of a nobler goal later on. I think there's a potential here for some really strong comps if they can survive for a while with it. Hey, it's up, David Green. If I was going to do some kind of reset at launch anyway, decided to give in an Enforced Favorite Scrappy build, try to get Lieutenant. Nice. Sleep isn't disconnected, just AFK. Yeah, I agreed. I don't know. And obviously, Sleep had readied up right before the game started and has clearly been AFK, but actually came back. I mean, pretty late. I guess something IRL did come up. Unfortunately, Sleep is in a very bad position for this game, so not expecting too much out of them. But we'll see how they manage it. But yeah, I do believe the idea is to go is whenever there's the release on the 25th is some sort of ranked reset. I don't know any details, but I assume that's the idea, is that ranks will be reset at some level. Whether it's like a full reset, everyone at the same point, probably not. It'll probably be like a soft reset where it's like, however many rank points you now have 60% of what you used to, or 70% or something, so that you like lose a little bit of progress and have to climb back, but like, it's not going to kill you. Or maybe they just reset everyone to certain ceilings. I don't know. But yeah, this next week or so is definitely a good time to just like not care about your rank and just play what you want to play. And it's part of the reason that I haven't been playing that much, is because I just I don't know. My rank doesn't matter all that much. I just didn't care that much to play it. I don't know. Yeah, so look at Enno's damage with this 4 Heartless build. 4 Heartless shredding 9 armor, all out attack, plus death spin. Just deals so much damage. It's all physical damage output. I actually think Enno is like, all out attack Enno is a huge buff to Heartless comps. Now, of course, they ran up against It's Martini, who just has like a strictly better Heartless comp, who's running not the greatest version of Enno, but does have like better units. The Beastmaster, the 2-star Pudge, a lot more 2-stars. But like, I actually think that with all out attack Enno, this is like probably better for the long-term strength of this build. HPG still has the Vanguard with Axe on the bench. I gotta imagine that's probably just a slight oversight. Still running still basically just not using this Vanguard. It's a little bit problematic here, but seeing worse. It does look like you're gonna be able to take down this Clockwork at least. So I'm not gonna take too terribly much damage. Gets another free reroll, takes a losing streak, but honestly, this build doesn't like really peak right now. At least not until you get the 2 stars. So. Yikes, you fell asleep. It was Isaiah, is that you? Is that sleep? Are you sleep? I get it, because you fell asleep. Bad joke, I know. Enno's made the game less fun. I think Enno, I kind of agree Enno's made the game less fun only because he's overpowered right now. I think design-wise, he's a cool design. I just think he's been a struggle to balance since he's come out. I think he's been in either too strong, mostly too strong territory. He's been too strong ever since he came out. I think design-wise, he's cool, and he definitely fits like the mode of like an Underlord I'm interested in playing. And but I do think he is too strong. And whenever anything is too strong, it's going to make the game feel worse and make the game less fun, no matter what it is that's too strong. Even if it's a normally fun thing, if it's too good, it does make the game less fun. I agree with that. So I think I kind of proposed some nerfs earlier to Enno. I think all out attack should not apply 5 stacks of poison. I think it should be like 2, maybe 3 stacks, right? Like, it just deals way too much damage. I also think his CC is a little bit too much. And his survivability, like Escape Artist, I'd like to see this nerf somehow either make it so that he doesn't stun in and out. He just stuns like on one side of that ability, not on both sides. Or I'd like to see it only be able to trigger twice, maybe 66 and 33% rather than 25, 50, 75. One of those 2 nerfs and the nerf to all attack I'd like to see. I honestly think he could afford both nerfs, and like that would be acceptable. HDPG here, losing to Declan Bot on round 14. I'm just gonna casually drop a yo here. Losing to Declan Bot. And to be fair, Declan Bot's got a good comp. Declan going for the scrappy build, the scrappy assassins. Yeah. So this is definitely a game of like the haves and the have-nots. There's 4 players who are 80 plus life, still in the green. Pouty Panda, Martini, Blue, and Lord Gort, all above 82 life. And the have-nots, HDBG, Nexus, Declanbot, and Sleep, all sub 60. There's a pretty big gap developing between top 4 and bottom 4 here, which we have not seen in previous games. Normally it's like 1 person running away with it, but here it's like 4 people running away with it, which is not really running away with it, it's just a divide. Blue with the Assassins here is going to take a win over HDBG, but it's not going to be by much. This is one of the powers of Enno, is that they just delay the game with so many casts of Escape Artist that you know, the poisonous time to tick. Part of the reason why insects are so popular with it is they just get to chip away whenever they're jumping around. But unfortunately, just not a lot of the 2-stars coming together. No 2-star Pudge, no 2-star Abaddon. Just pick up the Necrophos, which is a good unit, but doesn't have the greatest of items for it. No mana items. You really want a mana item. Octarine Essence is fine. If you get something like Bristleback, which is one of the greatest physical damage dealers in the game, is really good with the Heartless, but that's where Octarine is really good. Octarine's also pretty decent on Tiny. I don't know if it's that great on Necrophos right now, just because he already has a short cooldown, and I'm more concerned that he doesn't have mana in time. We'll see how it plays out, though. If he's taking a lot of damage, looks like Sleep does have the Troll Warlord on round 16. You know, despite falling asleep early, does have the 6 warriors plus 2 warlocks. Like, this is kind of a legit build from Sleep, and looking pretty solid right here. Of course, the 6 warrior bonus really canceling out the Heartless bonus. The warriors still have plenty of life total left, and of course a Troll Warlord this early on. Getting a Troll Warlord around 16 is just like some crazy power. Like, most people aren't even level 8. Like, no one else other than Declanbot's level 8. Like, it's Martini's still level 6. And you're already leveled up to 8 and have the Troll Warlord. Like, that is... I mean, yeah, you got 33 life, but... It's a good build to rebound after falling asleep. I think this warrior build actually has some potential here. So, looking around, there's 2 scrappy players this game. Well, 2.5 if you count Declanbot. But there's also 2 Heartless players, which I'm a little surprised by. Of course, Heartless are a little unusual. We've seen, of course, we know how it's Martini got to the Scrappies, or to the Heartless, with Beastmaster. But this Heartless build is taking some time to develop, I'll say, for HTPG. I do think it can still be strong in the late game. This is more like a brute focused build at the moment. Of course, still looking for looking for a way to fit in the 4th brute, right? So Ogre Magi is good, would give 4 brutes, would have to either make room by cutting Tiny here, but it's always unfortunate, and like, you're always loath to try to cut a 2-star unit when you already have, whenever you're kind of strapped for 2 stars, as is. But for the brute buff, it might make sense. It does find the Druid bonus. Once again, it's just some 1-star Druids, though, so a little less than ideal. But it's getting there. Still solidly middle of the pack. Still has above 40 life, so it's not really time to panic just yet. And there are, Declanbot's still in, so there's still kind of a, well, I would say a buy, but with how Declanbot's been playing, honestly, it's maybe not even that easy of a win with Scrappies and whatnot. It does look like they're going to be able to take down Declanbot here. Basically get a free round out of the deal here. You get a little bit of extra time here to stabilize and find their footing. It does have a Troll Warlord on the bench. I don't know if the Troll Warlord really fits into this build. Of course, if you want to get Warriors, you do have the Pudge and the Tiny right now. And of course, there was the Slaughter for a while, but I'm not sure if... Troll Warlord is just a great unit. So, would have to probably come at the expense of either Druids or Brutes. Hard to say if that would be a worthwhile exchange for a 1-star Troll Warlord with no item. But if you get a 2-star Troll, if you get an item for him like a Mask of Madness or Moonshard, that definitely could definitely swing in favor. So I like keeping the Troll Warlord on the bench. I think that's fine. But still, there's 3 really powerful players in the game who still have above 80 life. So I'm definitely a little concerned that this. Yeah, you're not that weak right now, but like, if you do, like, there's definitely some powerful opponents, which means you can take big chunks at a time. So I'm still a little hesitant that I feel like if HTPG loses here for a round or 2, you're gonna take like 15 plus, and that's gonna be bad. Taking like 15, I mean, I don't need to like, okay, taking 7 here, that's not that bad, but like, a couple of things died right at the very end there. But taking bigger chunks than that is going to be put you very quickly into the danger zone with so many people still very strong. Pouty Panda, Lord Gort, and Blue as well, all near 80 life, and all quite powerful. That's concerning, I'll say. This build just kind of like lacks damage output, right? It was kind of carried for a little while with some 2-star units. You know, the like 2-star Lifestealer, but this build just doesn't have damage. Like, there's no, like, Martini has a similar-ish build, right, with 4 Heartless, but also has 2-star Bristleback and 2-star Beastmaster. Wow, a 2-star Bristle already. Around 20, that's pretty good. It's pretty early. A lot of damage output from this build. The similar Heartless build just doesn't deal damage. It's not as much. Like, yeah, the Heartless bonus can amplify your damage output, but if you already have 0 damage output, like 0 times 0 is still 0. So, or 0 times 2, you're doubling your damage output, is still pretty low. That's something that actually is going pretty well against Martini here. Like, maybe I stand corrected. I was kind of unimpressed, but I guess Enno is your damage source. I guess I kind of overlooked that. Enno is your damage source in this build. So is Treant. I think while I was kind of looking around and talking about the different builds, I kind of missed that there was a 2-star, I think it's a 2-star Lone Druid that came in to give the 2-star Lone, or Treant, the Druid Alliance. Yeah, it was a 2-star Lone Druid and a 2-star Doom that came in while I was talking. So, you know, that's actually pretty reasonable. There's a Butterfly here. That's a good item for this Troll Warlord. It's an attack speed item, attack damage item. If you want to go up to some Warriors here, like that's an item to go for. Butterfly here on the Troll Warlord. 6 Heartless seems a little bit out of reach. There's an Ogre now that's 2-star. I think that would make sense to like replace the Tiny with the Ogre just to get 4 Brutes at the moment. But then there's still the question of like, trying to go 4 Heartless and 4 Brutes and 3 Warriors just does not work. Like, that is just too many units. And that since you're cutting a Warrior to add in a Brute, I guess you can get there if you get 2 more level ups, but like based on the current HP total, it doesn't seem like 2 more level ups is really in the cards here. So here's a little interesting part. Pudge doesn't actually hook if there's no spot adjacent to him. Pudge needs to have a spot adjacent to him to meat hook somebody into. So you saw Pudge took a long time to actually cast that meat hook. And that was actually like really bad. The exact position on the Pudge here is probably means that he's often going to be locked in. Just because he's on the corner and is already surrounded. So that was a bit problematic. I'm not entirely sure how you fix that other than just like move Lone Druid back a step or something. Or offset Pudge like one space to the left. Either of those could work. Unfortunately, Sleep does get eliminated there. It gets taken out in 7th place after falling literally asleep for the first 10-ish rounds. So that's never ideal. It does make some adjustments here. Going back up against its Martini, who was running the similar kind of Heartless build, but of course has I'll say the weaker version of Enno. Pudge does get his cast off, brings in the Bristleback. That's not exactly who you want to bring in, but if you can burst him down, which they do with the Lone Druid and the Bear, that's actually a really good Pudge hook. Normally, Pudge hooking a Bristleback is not ideal, but in that case, it worked out pretty darn well. And this version, with the heavier Brute presence, is proving to be a little bit stronger than the Brawny version, which I'm a little bit surprised by. On paper, I think I prefer the Brawny version. The double Beastmaster and the Bristleback seem like they deal a ton of damage, but I think the Enno is the defining factor. The all-out attack Enno is really strong. Fringu, is Enno broken? Yeah, Enno I think in either form is definitely a touch above the other options. All-out attack Enno in particular is like 2 touches above every other option. And that just means that you get into situations where everyone picks Enno regardless of the version. It's actually like a worse balancing issue when both versions of the Underlord are too strong than if it's like all-out attack Enno is really strong and Healing Sport and Essex are both really strong. Like, if that was the case, if they were both like if they were both strong like in different Underlords, that's not quite as bad of an issue as like the case where both versions of the same Underlord, because then you just always get the case where it's like, oh, which one do I get? Yay, I guess I win because I get the better version, or I guess I lose because I get the worse version. Whereas like you have a bit better odds of like having at least one of the good ones if they're separated between 2 different Underlords. So yeah, I do think Enno is a touch of a problem right now. Is a touch too good. And I think we're seeing that in these games where it's just like most players are going towards Enno. Hey, what's up, Yanni Carlet? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're casting the ESL Mobile Open here. Currently in game 3 of 5. So for these games, we've been just kind of following one player's perspective for most of the game, trying to get a better insight into their decision-making process and trying to understand where they're coming at the game from, and using that to and once they either win or get eliminated, then we swap to someone else. Currently following HTPG here is running a 4 Heartless 4 Brute comp. Does have some pretty decent items. It has a Troll Warlord on the bench trying to keep open the option of going towards Troll Warlord if they get another level up, but it's a little tough being so low in life total and kind of low in gold total, really. It would cost 35 gold to level here, and they do not have that at the moment. So it's a little rough. The Heartless bonus or build can be strong in some cases. Is back up against Martini with the other. The Brawny build does. Martini does have a 3-star Drow Ranger, and it's looking like that is going to be the deciding factors. Martini, or HTPG, had the better end of Martini for quite a while, but looking at these 2 comps, both builds running 4 Heartless. Martini has the 4 Brawnies, and actually how many Brawny kills they have? They have 60 Brawny kills. So the 4 Brawnies are now a very big part of Martini's build, which is just, I think, putting them over the edge here. Over this more brute-focused, more like kind of slow and steady damage output, whereas like the burst damage from Beastmaster and Bristleback and even the 3-star Drow Ranger is going to be a little bit too tough to handle here, and to be honest, it's not looking too good here. It does put in the Troll Warlord, hoping to get a bit more damage output with that level up. Will that be enough? Debatable. I don't really think so. Especially not against Potty Pan of the strong Scrappy player. We've seen how strong Scrappies have been like this entire day. Just like scrappy players have been very dominant. And Party Commander here has the 2-star sniper and a 1-star gyrocopter, so it does have the Ace of Deadeyes online. And the one thing about these kind of builds is they lack defensive options. Running this many Heartless means that you don't have that much defense. You're running offensive alliances like Heartless and Heartless. But so you're not running warriors. You're not running. There's some brutes here, but brutes are not very good against sniper. It's hard for your brutes to get onto the sniper. You have to rely on a lucky punch hook, and just not quite enough there. The Enno dealt a whole lot of damage, and Necrophos was doing a lot of work, but some of these other units just got picked off real early by the Deadeyes, the Troll Warlord, the Drow Ranger, even the Lifestealer just looked pretty embarrassing. So this item option here, not the greatest, does pick up an Eye of Scotty, which is, I guess, reasonable. Putting on the Lifestealer, just the debuff is fine, especially on a brute who's going to be able to spread that debuff to multiple targets. It's not going to like overwrite the same debuff because they're probably going to be swapping targets a lot. And the bonus health helps Lifestealer stay alive for a bit longer. But all things being said, I'm not thrilled about this build. I think it's lacking some damage output. It's been holding on to some Heartless that I think just didn't really pan out. Obviously, it doesn't have the 2-star Treant Protector, which is not something that you typically expect at this point in the game. So going up against the Mask of Madness, it's a 1-star Slark. Never mind, it's not that scary. I thought it'd be a 2-star Slark. That would be scary. It's just a 1-star. Still can carry, but also dies very quickly. Dies to like 1 auto from Doom. Alright, looks like this 4 brute build is pretty good against assassins. Let's be real, 4 brutes against assassins is typically a good matchup because assassins rely on attack damage. They're attack focused, and they also jump right into you, so it's not like a sniper situation who's also attack damage reliant. They're just going to get right into you, and you're going to be able to apply this brute debuff, which is going to reduce their attack damage by 60% for 4 seconds. And if you're relying on attack damage, yeah, losing 60% of it is not ideal. So brutes have generally a pretty good time against assassins there. Is the poison stack Enno's main problem? Yeah, I think so. I think there's 2 ways I would nerf Enno if I was in charge of balance. I would make sure that his all-out attack does not stack 5 stacks. It just stacked like 2 or 3 is what I've been saying. And honestly, after seeing the power level, like I'd say 2 just because he is a little absurd. Say just have that stack just 2 stacks of poison instead. Dramatically reduces damage output from all-out attack and also like the healing reduction. Like he should be kind of a counter to healing, but it shouldn't like annihilate healing. Too many times I've seen like 8 units on all-out attack versus like 5 units. It's like, oh, the one team is getting an advantage. They have 8 left versus like 4 or 5 on the other team. All-out attack goes out, and nobody from the 4 or 5 unit side dies, and they just win. They kill 8 units without losing anybody. Unfortunately, HTPG does get eliminated here in 6th place. Our winner from last game was no match for the Knights and Healers and the Vladimir's Offering from Nexus. And it does take an early exit here. I'm going to move over to It's Martini and check out what they've got going on. A similar-ish build, formed around a core of 4 Heartless. Does have progress towards 3-star Shadow Demon. Martini looking to stayed at level 8 for quite a while, and decided, okay, I'm just going to stay at level 8. I'm going to reroll for 3 stars, and they got the 3-star Drow. They have really good progress towards Shadow Demon and pretty good progress towards Beastmaster, but progress does not mean completed units, and having 1 away from a 3-star unit is the exact same as having 2 copies of that unit. So there's a lot of like wasted gold, I'll say, where it's like gold that's just not being put to good use whenever you're at this level. So the option to stay lower level does give you better odds of rerolling, but comes at the price of not leveling up. And everyone else in the game is level 9 or 10, and It's Martini just got to level 9 by selling off everything. Did manage to get the win there. This is a really good addition, the Medusa with the 3-star Drow Ranger, of course, and the Beastmaster giving you the Hunter Alliance. And the Draw Ranger is honestly going to be a pretty decent carry. You know, she's not to the level... She doesn't do AoE, so she's never really going to reach the Bristleback Juggernaut Beastmaster levels of damage. But, you know, her auto attacks are single target. She's going to deal pretty good damage. She's going to be pretty survivable with the Hunter bonus, and or the Vladimir's offering, and deal good damage with the Hunter bonus. So I kind of like where this is going, and I really like the positioning out of Martini here in particular. The way you got the 2 tank units right up front, and then kind of like this cascading kind of like arrow shape, or like V shape, where like you have your other like carries that deal damage, but they're like offset to the side and kind of move back. The one problem with these kind of builds is the positioning, because you have so many melees in these builds typically. This one is going for Shadow Demon and Drow Ranger, which, you know, oftentimes when I play Heartless, I'm not running those two. Like, those are the two I don't run, just because they get outclassed in late game if you don't get them to 3-star. And instead you opt for like Abaddon or Necrophos instead. You know, a bit stronger on their own right, but if you get to 3 stars, of course that works. But with like Abaddon thrown in here, and, you know, maybe if you have 2 2-star Beastmasters, you just really run out of space in the front line. And like, or if you run Doom for an extra Brute, you got another Brute thrown in there. It becomes a little bit of a melee DPS issue in terms of positioning here. That being said, this build is looking pretty good after the level up, the kind of late level up to 9. Getting the Medusa in here has been pretty effective. Of course, the 2 scrappy players are still the 2 at the top of the lobby. I don't know what we were expecting, but yeah, Scrappy's pretty good. That Enno just got annihilated during that Disruptor ult. So Enno got jumped on by all the assassins, and normally you're okay with that because he's going to jump away and stun all the assassins, but not whenever there's a Disruptor ult at the same time. Blue also has the 2-star Faceplate, and that's going to knock out its Martini in 5th place. I was just singing the praises of that build. I thought that build was nice, and gets smacked over the head with a 2-star Disruptor, or a 2-star Faceless Void, and a 2-star Disruptor. So that's a thing. That happened. Ooh, Satanic. That's not an item I've got to see too much of. I don't know if it's really the pick here in this Assassin build. There's no great target for it. Faceless Void can kind of use it. They do pick it up. Put it on the Disruptor to just really make sure that he doesn't die right away. And maybe allow him to survive long enough to get a second cast off. But that's kind of awkward because he's not going to use the lifesteal very well. He doesn't attack very hard. Moving over to the Viper instead. I think that makes more sense. Viper hits reasonably hard and could also use more life total. Could also go on Faceless Void if you really wanted to. I kind of like where the Assassin build is going. I mean, obviously there's no 3-star Assassins, so normally you're like, oh, Assassins without a 3-star at this point is kind of lackluster, but when you have 2 2-star Ace units, your Faceless Void and Disruptor, and Disruptor particularly effective against these stacked up builds, like you don't want to stack up against Assassins. I could see it getting eliminated right here. I was about to like say something good, but then they don't get eliminated here. You still lose, but just by a little bit. It was looking pretty bad actually. Man, what does it take to get rid of Scrappies? Well, apparently that's what it takes. Lord Gork got hit for 26 by Nexus? What? What? How much did Lord Gork have in HP? They were in 2nd place. They must have had double digits. I don't know how much HP they had. I honestly didn't think Lord Gork get eliminated there, but Nexus dealing 27. They had 22. Oh my goodness. That. Well, see, that's what happens when you don't play against Scrappies. So Scrappy builds are like rarely going to deal 20 plus damage to somebody just because they don't summon extra units. They don't have that much healing. I mean, they have some healing from the Scrappy Alliance, but like they don't have like Dazzle healing or Tree Ant Protector healing or other Necrophos healing. So like if they win, it's going to be like a small win. It's going to be like, you know, it's not going to be a win where they deal 50 damage. Okay, I say that and they deal 22. But that's because they got 2-star ace units. Nexus eliminated by Pouty Panda, who's got 2-star Medusa, 2-star Gyrocopter. And, well, we've been here before. We've been here before, similar-ish builds. 2-star Gyrocopter. Oof. I was going to say really pulling the weight, but that's an understatement. Yeah, 2-star Gyrocopter. That's not fair. Okay. 1v1 here. Assassins up against Scrappies. Obviously going to be pulling for the Assassin build since we've seen enough Scrappies win. But consider me not optimistic. A 2-star Medusa is a pretty big counter to Assassins. She just can't get burst down in time. And she's going to like stun the whole board. Like, it's just going to happen. If it's a 1-star Medusa, she's worthless against Assassins. A 2-star Medusa is basically GG. Actually, Assassins do take the round. Medusa got a good stun off, but there was not quite enough focus fire damage, and the Faceless Void that Vladimir's offering, the lifesteal healing, was a little bit more. It was enough to out tank that there. I will say the Assassins generally are a good matchup into Scrappies, but Scrappies turn the table in the very late game, as they so often do, with the 2-star Medusa, 2-star Gyro. But for quite a while, Assassins are favored. So it'll be close to see how this goes. This is an interesting build of Assassins, though, with the Disruptor and the Dragon. Or Dragon Knight's pretty standard, but the Disruptor 2-star is an interesting innovation, I guess is the proper word for it, on this build. I mean, just getting a 2-star Disruptor is good for any build. This Slark is not going strong. He was like 100% HP. Then he hit with all-out attack. Got 5 stacks of poison, and then he was gone. Okay, so another game, another scrappy win. Pouty Panda. That's two of the 3 games so far Pouty Panda's gotten first place in. So I think that's been right. Pouty Panda won game 1 and game 3. Yeah. So good stuff there. Yeah, Scrappy Hunters, pretty good. All right, I'll ready up, but I think they're gonna take a little bit of a break here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from talking nonstop. That's a lie. I'm gonna talk a little bit. So for next game, what I want to do is a bit more. I'm not gonna be looking at chat for next game. I'm gonna be just like focused on casting, because I'll probably take one of the games, either next game or game 5, and make it its own video, its own separate video that I'll post up in the channel. I just want to pretend like I'm recording its own video rather than talking to chat every 2 seconds here. 2-star Gyro is critical. Yeah, it sure is. It's so strong, a 2-star Gyrocopter. You just ran to the store, got some caffeine, I assume. Not falling asleep again. Oh man. I won't be asleep this time. I might be asleep though. Casting 5 games in a row is tough. Very tough. Just from like especially when you're the only caster and not don't have a duo to split half the speaking time with. I was really pulling for the assassins there at the end. I just didn't think they quite had it in them against 2-star gyro, 2-star Medusa. I do think the Disruptor was really sweet though. I think Disruptor is a sweet addition, but even if they pulled out a win or two, it was just too much life total from Pouty Pan. I still had like 50 plus life. And when you're playing assassins, it's such a high variance comp. It's like you can win close games with assassins. If like everyone's even, you can just like high roll 1 or 2 rounds where you just get all the crits and you take a win that you had no business winning. Whenever assassins are in a spot where they're at like 10 life versus like 50 life from somebody else, it's like one of the rounds you're just gonna miss all your crits. Like they're just not gonna hit. You know, you're just gonna miss, and then you lose. And it's like, okay, I lose 1 round, but like you only have 1 life left. So, whereas when it's the other case, like assassins are just like so high variance that whenever they're at a life total disadvantage, they're gonna low roll at some point before they win the game, and it's kind of unfortunate. 6 scrappy players in one of the other lobbies, yikes! That not good. Luckily, scrappies will not be in the game in a week or 2, so might as well get your scrap on while it's still available. But once season 1 comes out, scrappies are out of here. They are being rotated out. They're being rotated out in season 1. So, according to the PC Gamer article. They're being removed. So I kind of get it because like the release date is so close. It's 10 days away, which is like really short in terms of like game development time, that it doesn't really make much sense to like patch it to balance it right now. It makes a lot more sense to just like, you know, just let it play out, and then that's going to be removed, and I would presume Enno is going to get nerfed too once they go full release. I assume they're going to rebalance a lot of things with that big patch. Plus introduce, you know, the new hero rotation, the new the new city crawl and battle pass and all that other fun stuff. Plus anything else they want to surprise us with. I know there's like whispers of like a new item system, like items 2.0, but like I haven't heard anything more about that. They like mention it once or twice, and then like oh yeah, it's coming ish, and then like nothing else. So I don't know if that's still happening. It might not be, but I presume if there's gonna be hero rotation, there's gonna be at least some new items, even if it's not a fully revamped system, and that'd be cool. It'd be cool to see new items. I think they really been nailing the good, like they've been improving the items so much over time. From the original use of alliance items, and then like the scaling alliance items, which was like super weird, into just removing them, and then into removing global items entirely. I kind of liked the global items, but they were very hard to balance. Smuggler in particular was just way too good. And a number of other things were problematic from a balance perspective. So, whatever. I think they've been doing well by the item system. I think it's been constantly improving. I do wish there was like a bit more uniqueness to it. If that makes sense. Maybe not like full crafting like we have in like TFT, but something to set it apart a bit more, I would think I would like. Alright, we're getting into game 3 here, so I'm going to go full caster mode here. Hey everyone, Tin Man here, back with some more Dota Underlords. We're going to be casting the ESL Mobile Open here. We are in the closed qualifiers, so this is the top half of players who were from the open qualifiers have moved on to the closed qualifier section. And at the end of this week, they will make another cut again to the top into Phase 3 qualifiers. So we've got a 7-player lobby just because uneven number of cuts here. So Pretty standard in some of these tournaments. We're going to be following Pouty Panda here for most of this game. Pouty Panda won the previous game, and actually we've played 3 games already today. This is the 4th game, and Pouty Panda won the 1st game and the 3rd game. So definitely a strong player that we can watch and learn from. And I think casting tournaments, it probably helps to follow just like 1, maybe 2 players a little bit more in depth rather than trying to cover everybody's perspective, and I think that might be a better way to approach the tournament. So we're going to try that for this game and see how it goes. So Pouty Panda here has opted to play just 2 units on the first turn rather than a full 3, and the idea behind that is that there's not really a good combination here. If you look at all the units that they had options to, the only alliance they could have really completed, I guess, was maybe Bloodbound with Bloodseeker and Warlock, maybe Warlocks with Venomancer and Warlock, but admittedly, those are kind of weak individual units. They're not scrappy units. They're not demons. They're not like big brawnies that deal AoE damage or brutes. So they kind of lack a little bit of power in this early game. And so the idea with just playing 2 units right off the bat is you have a weak board, just play 2 units. You're almost certainly going to lose against anybody playing 3 units. And take a losing streak. It's not full open fort, but you just probably take a loss here. We do see Pouty Panda actually getting a 2-star Timbersaw there with a free reroll. By taking a loss, you get a free reroll. Very valuable, of course. And we do see them going to get this Timbersaw to 2-star. Very lucky there we didn't watch their full shop. But very powerful at this point, but still kind of sticking to this, hey, I lost the first round. And you have a sense of direction to go maybe towards this like scrappy build with the 2-star Timbersaw, but I still want some more rerolls because early rerolls are pretty powerful if you can find these 2-star units. So opting to just play a single Timbersaw is probably a reasonable bet. If you did happen to win the first round, maybe if they looked around and saw, oh, somebody's playing actual open fort with 0 units on board, maybe you actually play 0 yourself. Or sorry, you play more units and try to win the rounds. But here, I think Pouty Panda is thinking, I lost the first round, I want to lose the next round, and maybe even lose another round after this. Just keep a losing streak, at least initially. But this is kind of playing a little greedy and saying, well, I'm going to play some units. Right? I'm going to play some units to maybe get a kill or 2. It can definitely backfire if you end up accidentally winning the round. And then, things go really sideways and you actually win the round, don't get your losing streak. But in this case, up against HDPG, has a very strong start with a 2-star Treant already via the Druid Alliance and the 2-star Bloodseeker. So that was a beating and a half here. So Pouty Panda has got the losing streak that I think they wanted initially, but also has some good units. Has the 2-star Timbersaw, has the Scrappy Alliance, and also has some Hunters, which is a common pairing with these Scrappy builds. Scrappy being arguably the most powerful build right now in the meta, certainly the most popular. Just it's very commonly played with Hunters just because Sniper is so strong, and also you've got Medusa and you've got Weaver as great units to throw into a Scrappy build. So picking up somebody like Lycan is a great addition as well, to just give you that 3 Hunter bonus, especially after recent nerfs to Dragon Knight, means that the Dragon path with Dragon Knight and Snapfire is just a lot less appealing because Dragon Knight has gotten nerfed a few times here. So after a couple of early losses and using some rerolls, Pouty Panda does opt to play the full 3 units that they are allowed to play, that they've been allowed to play for quite a while now, and doesn't manage to take a win here with the 2-star Timbersaw pulling a lot of damage in that fight up against Blue, who's running some Assassins. So, not running the full kind of like dedicated losing streak strategy, and I think that is a good choice, especially because we do have a bot in the game, which I understand that they want to have an even 8-person lobby here, and so they use the hardest difficulty bots in these tournaments to fill up the empty spots. But it does lead to some weird gameplay situations where, a strategy like a losing streak strategy is a little bit devalued because there's a bot who's probably weaker than you, even if you are trying to lose in it. So, that's just something the players have to recognize and adapt and be able to overcome in this particular game here. So this is a close one up against some warriors here. Earth Spirit, being fairly recently moved down to tier 2, survives at exactly 1 HP. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a fight actually go to exactly 1 HP. And we just saw it there. I thought, honestly, the Scrappies were going to get away with it. No, they do not. The 1 HP Earth Spirit manages to take the win here. And so that is, it's still early, so it's not disastrous by any means, but it does mean that Pouty Panda was trying to go on a win streak, and they kind of thought, oh, maybe I will get a win streak, just because, very powerful 2-star Timbersaw, very powerful Bounty Hunter 2-star. They didn't actually have that for the previous round because they were, they found it, they ran out of time right before the prep phase ended. So that was kind of bad to not get that win streak going and get that a little bit disrupted early game. That might impact their economy a little bit in terms of the amount of gold they'll have available going into the mid game here. Going back up against Blue, who is looking to go towards an assassin build. Assassins are kind of weak right now, still having a lot of 1-star assassins. No 2-star bounty from Blue, no 2-star Queen of Pain or anything like that. So assassins are going to take a little bit of a loss here as Pouty Panda tries to get back on that winning ways here. I think this build is quite strong. It just lost about 1 HP to those warriors. So let's take their position here and let's take a look at what the rest of the lobby looks like and see what they should be thinking. So obviously they're a little bit lower on life total than everyone else, just because they intentionally went on the early round losing streak, went 2 wins in a row before losing again, or just win, loss, win. So of course we'd prefer those 2 wins to be in a row now. Does see what looks like 2 assassin players between Blue and Nexus, and assassins definitely have a time in the game where they are much stronger than Scrappy players. So you do have to be a little bit worried if the Scrappy build doesn't really come together and so the assassins start kind of popping off around that around 15 to 20 range, where the assassins can get all 2-star assassins plus complete 6 assassins. They can kind of beat up on Scrappies until Scrappies start finding their gyrocopters and other ace units. But that's a little ways away, and we don't have to worry about that right now. Pouty Panda does take a win over Lord Gort there, and does manage to get 4 Scrappies here now with the Tinker getting involved. And that is a huge power spike, getting the 4 Scrappies. Make sure that this bonus applies to every Scrappy unit. And that just makes everybody super resilient and is obviously quite strong. So I didn't really talk too much about their item choices so far, since they picked Voidstone on turn 1. That's a little hard to tell exactly where you're going on turn 1, but Voidstone is an item that I think a lot of newer players don't fully appreciate exactly how strong this is and exactly when it's good, because it's not as easy to parse as, oh, armor, that's great on tanky units, or attack damage or attack speed is just great on any unit that attacks. Voidstone is really good on any units who have really short cooldowns. So Timbersaw who held it for most of this game, has a short cooldown, just 5 seconds. So oftentimes Timbersaw needs that mana to cast every 5 seconds. Same idea with Tinker, who casts every 8 seconds, which is a little bit longer, but Tinker also generates mana so much slower than Timbersaw. Timbersaw is going to be right up in the front taking attacks, gaining damage from being attacked, which hopefully Tinker won't be. And so he really needs that mana item, especially if you get him up to 3-star, when his cooldown goes down to essentially 0 seconds. He basically has no cooldown, and he just is going to cast as soon as he gets mana up. So picking up a Voidstone early on is very flexible and can go towards a lot of different builds. Tinker, probably one of the best carriers of it. And honestly, I think Bounty Hunter is a really good carrier of it as well, because he has a 5-second cooldown and a pretty powerful 500 damage Shuriken toss. That sometimes he struggles to get his mana up quickly enough. You see that he's a little bit slow. But same idea with Tinker, who also deals lots of damage, and things are looking pretty good for Pouty Panda here. The only player still on a win streak, which would have been a larger win streak if it wasn't for that 1 HP Earth Spirit earlier on. Hand of Midas, the other item they picked up was just a solid item. You're very rarely going to be upset with the Hand of Midas, and especially on somebody like Timbersaw who's going to get a lot of kills early on. Maybe you can grab a couple extra gold and get ahead that way. So, Underlords. I mean, obviously we're playing Don't Underlords, so Underlords are a big part of the game, and this is a very Enno style game here. We see actually every single player's picked up Enno. To be fair, including the bot, which is, of course, random. This is, I feel like, a natural progression to where the games have been so far with this lobby. Like I said, we've already played 3 games with these same group of players, and Enno has definitely been the dominant Underlord so far in this game, and in the meta right now. It does seem like Enno, in both versions, All Out Attack Enno and Yoink Enno, or I guess as they're technically called, Rabid Furball and Healin' and Stealin' Enno, but I refer to them by their alt names. Both of them just seem to be a touch above the other Underlords. I don't think he's like completely busted, like beyond overpowered, but I do think he is a touch above to the point where you should probably pick Enno in whatever build you're playing. And that's a little unfortunate because I do think that stifles creativity, but as we do know, in about 10 days we're going to be getting a new rotation of heroes and presumably some balance changes. So until then, just pick Enno. He's really strong. I do think he kind of makes the game a little bit, fights like this a little bit boring when just Ennos are just bouncing back and forth. It's a little comical, but it also gets a little boring when you're just sitting here twiddling your thumbs when waiting. When is this fight going to end? It gives you plenty of time to use your emotes, though. Or they're just going to draw. Which I suppose in this case, between Pouty Panda and Sleep, is probably the best case scenario for both of them, because they're both on a win streak. And the way this works is, if you are on a win streak, a draw does not stop your win streak, which is kind of weird, because you didn't win. You had a draw. But I digress. So no one has lost their streak. They're still both on a win streak. It just didn't progress it any further. So because they had a draw, they're both going to, continue their win streak and hopefully play against other people and keep on winning. But that just goes to show the power of Enno to never, ever, ever die. It also pairs very well with Scrappies, which we know Pouty Panda is definitely looking towards a Scrappy build. To be the fact that once you get up to 6 Scrappies, Enno himself can hold the Scrappy buff when it says all allies get the bonus. So that makes him even harder to deal with, which he already is very hard to deal with. And also, most Scrappy builds typically will have insects in it, just because you're playing Weaver, who's a Scrappy. And when Enno is constantly jumping around, kind of extending the fight and making the fight go on for a few extra seconds, the insects are still nibbling away at the opponent. So insects are a very popular pairing with Enno for that reason, that while he's doing his jump arounds, it's going to be very hard to deal with him. In terms of the exact version of Enno here, we do see Pouty Panda has the Yoink Enno, which I would say is probably the weaker of the two. I think All Out Attack is just a little bit more impactful, as we kind of have seen. Other versions, actually I didn't quite see if they lost against. Was it an All Out Attack Enno? No, it was not. But even so, I do feel like the All Out Attack Enno, the AoE stun and the big poison application is quite strong, and I think that's a touch better than the Yoink version, especially especially early on when you're not yoinking super great items. You're yoinking like Chainmail or Claymore, I think, in that last fight. Certainly nothing compared to like the Vladimir's Offering that you might be yanking later on, or a Moon Shard or something like that. So I do think the All Out Attack is a touch better in the early game here. That being said, we do see Pouty Panda going on a bit of a losing streak here. Well, it was a draw and then loss. I guess at this point, Pouty Panda would probably thinking, I kind of wish I had lost that round that we had a draw in. In any case, not to be deterred, not going to suddenly swap out into a totally different strategy. Is still going to go for this kind of scrappy inventor style build. Is decided to do this very common strategy here where they're going to 24 of 25 as they're waiting for the next round to start up. That way, whenever the round starts up, they're at level 7, and so they get the odds in the shop as if they were level 7. So they get the 15% odds on the tier 4 units, for instance. So higher chance of finding things like Alchemist, a very powerful tier 4 scrappy unit. And also waiting to buy this extra timber saw and waiting to use the reroll until the round starts so they can lock in the interest above 30. And then right as it starts, they do the reroll and see what's going on. They can pick up Bloodseeker, although I doubt this will be a pickup. It's just there for the... or I doubt it'll be played. They're going to pick it up just in case. But I doubt it'll ever actually come in. The Deadeye bonus is very valuable in later game stages to really empower this sniper. But of course, you still have the 1-star sniper who's not the most impactful at 1 star. But once he gets up to 2-star, he can really start to carry some fights with the Deadeye bonus to focus fire down those low health targets. But a 1-star sniper is not the most useful. And besides, by the time you get to the late game stage, hopefully you found the Gyrocopter, a very powerful late game ace of Deadeyes. That being said, this build is still quite powerful here. The insect's doing a lot of work as Enno is constantly bouncing around. The timber saw itself, of course, still very tanky. Even without a defensive item, Pouty Panda has not opted to go for any sort of defensive item at the moment. Is still opting to go for the offensive items in these pickups. Has picked up the Crystallis for the Bounty Hunter, which Bounty Hunter is often the scrappy that you end up cutting when you find that Alchemist in the later stages of the game. But until then, it's a pretty good item on him because he attacks pretty fast, so he uses the bonus damage and crit chance pretty well. Also realize that I probably want to be focusing a little bit more on keeping their shop open during the prep phase, so we can look at what they're buying and what they're choosing not to buy specifically. In addition to talking about just the general meta trends and what they're generally going for here. Pouty Panda does take a loss here against Nexus, who has a pretty powerful build on a very good win streak with that Assassin and Scrappy build. They have a 2-star Viper and 2-star Queen of Pain, which are doing a lot of damage output. At this point, yeah, both of them at the top of the damage charts here. Any 2-star of a 3-cost unit is so powerful at this point in the game. Viper, Sniper, any of those, or Lycan, Treant, anything you get a 3-cost unit to 2-star this early on, it's going to be pretty powerful. So we do see them pick up the pairs of the units, the pair of Tinkers, pair of Broodmothers, and use the free reroll, and just really looking to level up to 8 as soon as possible. Leveling up to 8 unlocks the possibility of getting ace units. So that's where you want to get Medusa to round out the Hunter comp, rather, between the Weaver and the Sniper. And it also unlocks Gyrocopter to be available for your Deadeyes. So definitely appealing for these builds to get up to level 8 sooner rather than later. And so that's why we see just no rerolls, just spending all of your excess gold above 30 going to level ups. That does mean that Pouty Panda is a little bit weak right now, has not been rerolling at all. Has been on a bit of a losing streak, doesn't have too many upgrades, has a lot of pairs, for instance, but not a lot of those upgrades that are really going to put them in a winning position here. Does take a very narrow win against HTPG here. Honestly, I thought that could have been another draw, but does manage to pull it out there in the end. So the item pickup here, there's nothing super appealing. Either Skullbash or Stonehole Pike I think would be a pick. Battle Fury is a pretty good item on some melee units, but unfortunately the melee units in this build aren't the big carries. Timber Saw doesn't have very high attack damage and is mainly about his Whirling Death. Broodmother is kind of squishy at 1-star. Alchemist is a good person to hold some of these attack damage items, but he doesn't come on until later in the game. So instead they're opting for Stonehole Pike, which already has a lot of kills on Bounty Hunter. Oftentimes, if you have an early 2-star Weaver or a Deadeye Sniper early on, they'll also rack up lots of kills. So Stonehole Pike is often quite good in these kind of compositions. It does go on the Bounty Hunter, though, who I did say I suspect they're going to replace at some point. But at this point, it may just be that Clockwork doesn't come in if they don't find a 2-star Clockwork. Because there's 7 Scrappies in the game and you only need 6, one of them is going to be the odd man out. And oftentimes it's Bounty Hunter, but if you get a lot of kill on Bounty Hunter, and then you find a Stonehole Pike, you can make an exception and keep him in. And instead cut one of the other units that you don't have an amazingly powerful item on. So here we see the value of Enno and the insects, with all these insects just really, like, Enno was in a 1v2, or Pouty Panda was in a 1v2, and the insects just kept on ticking as Enno was doing the jump around and escape artisting all over the place. Those insects were pulling some late game damage, or late round damage rather. Still going up against the bot, Agnieszka bot, who is also running scrappies of their own. You know, each of these bots is programmed to go for a certain style of build, and since it's kind of random, they just happen to be going for a pretty good build, and that's another little factor that these players do have to adapt to, is whatever bot is in the game, if there is a bot, knowing that that bot will be picking up some of the units that they may want, and being able to adapt to that and perhaps adjust their strategy to compensate for that, knowing that the bot's probably going to be eliminated around round 20-ish. That's just a pretty common situation. So being able to adapt to that is important to know that, you know, before then your units might be a bit rare, and after that they might be more common. So trying to balance what type of strategies you go after because of that is pretty important. Does look like Pouty Panda gets another win here. I realize we have not been looking too much at their shop. We do see that they've leveled up to 8 now. A little bit before most other players. Most other actual players are still level 7. Only Lord Gort has leveled up to 8 at the moment. And this was kind of preemptive. We could tell that by the fact that, you know, because no one else is leveled, it's Martini's still 6 actually. Very, very fast level up from Pouty Panda here. And that's because we know that the scrappy builds really wants to get levels under their belt. They don't need to reroll too terribly much. It's nice if they get some upgrades, like they do have the pair of 2-star timber saws, which have been doing some pretty good work. But the late game is all about that gyrocopter and the Medusa. So here we do see Martini's build, who's still level 6, but Martini's been taking kind of the opposite approach, staying at a lower level and rerolling a lot. Does find the 3-star Shadow Demon, and I'm sure Martini is also pretty close to like 3-star of some of the other units in their build, since they've been rerolling so much here. We'll take a look here after Pouty Panda does take a win over them, but it's not a huge win. Just rather a narrow win, actually, since the Enno is so good at buying time. It's Martini, yeah, has a 3-star Shadow Demon, and also is 1 away from 3-star Beastmaster. Has 8 of those 9, and Beastmaster is a huge upgrade for that comp. And because Martini is still, you know, gets a free reroll from the losing streak, is still at a lower level, and still has some rerolls left, definitely they're going to find that Beastmaster soon, and I think that'll be a big turnaround for that build. But until then, it's definitely looking like Pouty Panda is in good shape here. Yep, there's Martini with the 3-star Beastmaster, as we kind of expected at some point here. And Pouty Panda is probably like, whew, dodged a bullet there. Just got out of it a turn before that came online. So, of course, you can't play the same person back-to-back unless you're in a 1v1. Or down to the final 3 even. So it tries to like switch your opponents up so they know they're not going to play that opponent just yet. Pouty Panda is up against Lord Gort here, who does have a Legion Commander with not that many duel wins. She's only won 1 duel, effectively, 8 bonus damage, and you know, I am the biggest Legion Commander fan that you'll find here, but a 1 duel win Legion Commander in round 19, I'm a little skeptical. I'm just gonna say I don't think it's the carry that you want it to be if you've fallen behind this early. And so Pouty Panda takes advantage of that, and Lord Gort takes a chunk of 11 damage. Somehow, Agnieszka bot is still sticking around here at 13 life, so bot is going to survive for another turn or two as Pouty Panda and Nexus kind of start to pull a bit away from the pack. Martini, after finding those 3-star units, does opt to level up to 7. A little bit late to the party, as Pouty Panda gets very aggressive here and levels up to 9. But I guess it makes sense, because despite what I call aggressive leveling up, like fast leveling before everybody else, they haven't lost any interest. They still were at 30 gold of interest at the start of the round, just buying the Sand King after the round locks in. Or the interest locks in at the start. Just like, I don't think Pouty Panda has done a single reroll at any point in this game that wasn't a free reroll. And that's what you have to do in this kind of build, is just get your upgrades naturally. I know that's a little bit luck-based, right? And then just get the level ups and start rerolling at level 9, right? At level 8 or 9, depending on when you really... Depends on how much your life total is. And since Pouty Panda is pretty healthy, makes sense to try to level up at 9. Does get paired up against Martini again, who we were just talking about. Dodged right after they got that 3-star Beastmaster, but of course that was a huge upgrade. And Beastmaster does a lot of damage, 10,000 damage in that fight. Beastmaster looking good there. So Pouty Panda takes a bit of a hit, but honestly, that's okay. I'm sure they're thinking that, you know, I just spent all my gold to level up to 9. I know I haven't been rerolling. I'm not that strong. I don't have the upgrades. But now that I'm level 9, now I can start to reroll. Now I can start to reroll and not worry about things. They find the gyrocopter. That is huge. That is a huge change right here. That gives them not only 4 inventors, but also 2 Deadeye and Ace of Deadeye. Now, of course, their Deadeyes are still 1-star units, so, you know, you gotta temper your expectations here just a touch. But, yeah, the gyrocopter alone deals a lot of damage. Hits very hard, and his auto attack hits hard, you know, 100 plus DPS, plus also his call down AoE hits very hard. And it's always going to go on the most useful target. It's going to go on the lowest HP target, because the Deadeye plus the Pierce effect. Like, yeah, a 1-star gyrocopter is still the top damage dealer in this build, and that just shows you why this late game scrappy build is just dependent on getting gyrocopter. And that's why you gotta level up so quickly. You just have to do that to maximize your odds of finding the gyro and Medusa to some extent, because obviously you want to replace this Drow Ranger with a Medusa, the ace of hunters, in the very later stages of the game. So we do see our first bot being eliminated. So no player has been eliminated yet, but Lord Gord is a little bit worse for wear. So is Blue, also down at 30 life. In the meantime, now that I'm assuming Pouty Panda is probably wants to do some rerolls here, probably just going to be rerolling down to around 30 gold every turn. Probably, I would imagine they're healthy enough and they think they're strong enough to exercise a little bit of restraint and not feel any need to like reroll lower. As soon as you start saying, oh, I need to reroll lower than 30, lower than max interest, that's when you get yourself into trouble and you say, I'm probably just never going to level up again. And here, because Pouty Panda is still at 55 life, still pretty healthy, you got to think, you know, this is fine. I can take it safe. I can just reroll once or twice per turn. I don't need to go all in. And you can get, you can find what upgrades come to you. And then, whenever the time is right, if you find enough upgrades and you think you're strong enough, and maybe, you know, 4 or 5 turns down the line, you can say, alright, yeah, now it's time to level up to 10, and throw in 1 more unit. So that's what I think their mindset is right here. Of course, they buy the Alchemist after Interest locks in at the start of the round to go up to 29 gold, or to go down to 29 gold. So Pouty Panda does take a very narrow win here. Once again, the Enno duel off, and of course, Gyrocopter, top DPS. Man, 1-star Gyrocopter is just that good. So, they do have the Savage bonus between the Lycan, or they did have Lycan until when did they get a Medusa? They just get a Medusa, oh, just now. Okay, I missed it. They just got a Medusa. So that's pretty insane. Alright, so this build has really come together, and I think Pouty Panda is in a great shape to probably continue this win streak. And once again, exercising that restraint, just going down to exactly 30 every round, and just taking what comes and not like force re-rolling, because they are pretty healthy. It's going to be a big test, though, going up against the Nexus, the only player with more HP with his Assassin builds. The Assassin build is still a little bit weak. They doesn't have the they just have the 1-star Slark. They've got some other 1-star Assassins, like the 1-star Faceless Void and Medusa. So it's not the cleanest fight on either side here. I do think the Assassins are getting the better end of it here, just barely though. But the Insects and Enno have a knack for extending these fights, and it does look like the Assassins are going to get it in the end here, but it's pretty darn close. Does look like Pouty Panda takes a slight loss, just losing, what, 5 or 6 life here? Just 5. Honestly, that's not the end of the world. I'm sure Paddy Panda is like still sitting pretty happy here, despite not rerolling down to anything lower. Does have the pair of Medusas, does have the pair of snipers, pair of weavers, like has pairs of everything that they need, and also still been maintaining max interest. Does now finally drop a little bit lower on the gold total, dropping to below 30. I wanted to get that 2-star Alchemist on the table, so that is going to be another big upgrade. But honestly, they're doing pretty well even without some of these 2-stars, so I think this is a strong build. But here's another one with It's Martini with the 3-star Beastmaster. The last time they faced, Martini definitely got the better end of this. Beastmaster's 43 kills himself, let alone I think they've got... is it just 44 total? Is that it? Is that all that any of the brownies have? Nah, that can't be right. I'll have to double check here after the round, but it does look like this big Beastmaster is definitely a struggle for this scrappy build to deal with. They just do not have the single target focus to be able to bring down a really, really tanky Beastmaster here. So I'll put It's Martini's board and see how many brownie kills they have. It is 49. Okay, so yeah, almost every single one of their kills is on this Beastmaster, one on the axe. I guess that's the only 2 brownies. They have a Bristleback on the bench, but that's not really doing much here. So, despite that, if you are in Paddy Panda spot, you're thinking, well, I think this is a really strong build. I think 6 Scrappies is especially strong, and they got a 2-star Medusa. Oh my goodness. Now, this is how you be a good player. You just get to level 9, just fast level to 9, and then just get your 2-star Medusa and your Gyrocopter. That's just what you gotta do. Just get them like it's nothing. This is a really early 2-star Medusa, and it's particularly effective against assassins because they all jump in on her, and almost all of them are going to be in range of her stun. She does get her full stun off and takes out most of the assassins in the backline. Gyrocopter is still alive, so I think this is going to be a nice, solid win here for Paddy Panda. Probably going to eliminate blue here. Yeah, 2-star Medusa. Really, really good upgrade, especially at this point in the game. I mean, any point in the game, it's really strong. On round 25, that is pretty early for a 2-star ace unit to come in and just mop things up, especially without like the most heavy of rerolls. Just got up to level 9 and has just been rerolling down to 30 and then down to 20 the past 2 rounds. And it has a pair of Void Spirits, which I don't think they're going to pick up, but the possibility of another 2-star ace unit is maybe slightly appealing. I think they're still probably just looking at throwing in another Timber Saw or another Sniper, another Gyrocopter if they get up to level 10, rather than trying to go into Void Spear or something. In terms of items, Scythevise is a mana item, so if they didn't have the Void Stone, they may think about that if they wanted a mana item on Tinker. But instead they opt for... God, I missed it. What did they pick? Did they pick Eye of Scotty there? Was that it? That must have been it. I literally blanked. I guess that's the only item they must have picked. Yeah, Eye of Scotty, great item on Medusa, but they're instead opting to go for a little bit more damage output on Medusa with the Hand of Midas rather than the CC, the AoE slow from Eye of Scotty, because this will slow everybody that she split shots to. Instead opting to give Weaver a bit more survivability, because he is still a 1-star and is a little bit vulnerable, so they just want to give that Eye of Scotty over to Weaver because he needs that little bit extra of HP to stay alive in these fights. That being said, this is a really good situation for Paddy Panda, who is making short work of pretty much everyone they're coming up against here. Lord Word is probably going to get eliminated here on this round, who is running a Knight's build, was just not able to deal with this 2-star Medusa, who just was dealing top DPS. It's so incredibly strong. There's even another Medusa in the shop they just opted not to pick up because it would cost them interest, of course. And I think 3-star Medusa is probably not what they're expecting to play. They're probably not going to do any buying here since they're just above 30, but we want to take a quick scout around here and see this lobby actually has quite a bit more diversity than I think we've seen in previous games in the lobby today. We've seen a lot of Scrappies. Now there's 2 Scrappy players remaining, but there's also a Heartless, a Warrior, and an Assassin player, all doing pretty well. So We'll see how this relatively less contested scrappies than we've seen before. We know they're very strong even when contested, and of course finding the 2-star Medusa is quite good. But there are some other strong builds out there as well, so we'll have to see if this build is able to take them down. So far, it's making pretty short work of Sleep here, and it looks like Sleep is going to get knocked out. This 2-star Medusa just pulling so much damage. And the warrior build, unfortunately, just not able to compete. A 1-star Troll Warlord is not going to pull nearly as much damage as a 2-star Medusa. It really does scale very strongly in favor of whoever gets up to 2-star quickly. A 2-star Troll Warlord maybe could have competed, but the 2-star Medusa was just way too much to handle. In the meantime, we do see a 2-star Faceless Void over on Nexus, so we'll have to see if some of these ace units, now that a lot of players are starting to get access to them, if that starts to come into play. We do see Patty Penna taking a couple of rerolls here, trying to find that 2-star sniper. The other option could have been to spend, they had above 35, I think they had 36 gold at the start of the turn. It could have been to spend 35 to level up and just throw in another 2-star Timbersaw. But deciding that, we've got 40 life, we're not really at risk of dying anytime soon. Let's take a couple rerolls, see if I can find some upgrades, and then slowly level to 10. It's gonna level to 10 eventually, but that can wait a few turns. There's no reason to compromise your interest and go down to 0 right away when you're not really at risk of being eliminated. So I can understand where they're coming from here. Although the competition is going to get significantly harder here, as they do take a loss to It's Martini, takes 7. And HTPG does get eliminated, the other Scrappy player, so a couple more Scrappies back in the pool. But now you know that there's only 3 players left, 2 opponents, and one of them just beat you, It's Martini, and the other one has a 3-star Viper, who has a similar problem for this build that a 3-star Beastmaster does, in that how do you deal with such a single high health unit? This Viper is 4,500 health, but also is super immune to magic damage because of the corrosive skin. I'm just not sure. Actually, if we hop over to their perspective, they're facing a ghost of Nexus. So I just feel like this Viper is just never gonna die in this build. I know they got a 3-star Timbersaw just now with some of these rerolls. Actually, instead of opting to level up to 10, deciding that maybe they were feeling the pressure and thinking, okay, I don't have a great unit to put in, and my only hope is to actually just level up. Or sorry, the other way, that I don't have a great 10th unit to put in, and instead I'm just going to reroll here because we want to find the 2-star or 3-star Timbersaw, the 2-star Sniper, the 2-star Gyrocopter. And they do manage to find the Timbersaw and the Sniper, and are actually able to deal with that Viper. I think the Viper was still pretty strong, but the rest of the assassins just struggled to take down the rest of this board. It was very tanky. Medusa is still a great counter to a lot of these assassins, and if you get 3 or 4 people focus firing on just the Viper and he's the only one left, yeah, I guess you can take him down. He has a lot of magic resistance, not a lot of physical armor. So once they're mostly gone, they can focus fire down. This Viper did not jump because this Clockwork moved up first and kind of got in range. So this Viper is not really going to be taking too much damage initially. It's going to get some time to cast a couple times. This fight may go exactly the opposite way here. If this Viper survives long enough, he is still untouched. And yeah, you can definitely see the difference in this fight whenever the Viper does not jump. He actually becomes top DPS, and the Scrappies struggle to deal enough damage because the Viper didn't jump in, didn't get stunned by the Medusa. This is a weird situation where you actually want the assassins to jump in on you just because Medusa's Stone Gaze doesn't reach into that backline. Patapan opts for Vladimir's Offering here. Probably the next best choice was the Mechanism. Vladimir's Offering just provides a lot of survivability, +5 armor to your entire, well, not your entire team, but 2 cells around your units. I think they're going to put that on the Timbersaw, the tankiest unit. I'd probably like to see this Timbersaw moved one more square closer to the middle, just to make sure, because right now this Timbersaw, if you count 2 cells away, you're missing some squares that are off the board. So if you move it closer to the middle, it still affects everyone on the right side, but also affects a little bit more to the left if people move that way. But, you know, just keeping the same positioning, I guess, assuming that people are going to flow into them or the Timbersaw is going to move forward, so it doesn't matter that much anyway. Yeah, this Timbersaw kind of took an awkward path here and is kind of out of range and doesn't have too many people in range of its ability. Like, the backline is really unprotected, same with the Medusa, whereas if Timbersaw was a little bit closer, maybe this Medusa would be protected. Warden, this is going to be a problem. Medusa is just getting, like, shredded by this Beastmaster in the backline, and yeah, this Beastmaster is not going down, but he probably will. I don't think he can actually kill this this big Timbersaw. He hits hard, but not that hard. Yeah, whenever Timbersaw dies, the Inventor Explosion actually kills him off here. We get another very close one. It comes down to the Enno battle. I think the Enno with Scrappy bonus does win. I was pretty close. It was looking bad initially, but Beastmaster with 23k damage. The problem is the rest of the build doesn't do all that much. 6 Heartless just feels like it doesn't do anything other than enable the Beastmaster. I mean, it's quite strong at that, but outside of that Beastmaster, it feels like the rest of the Martini's build doesn't do a whole lot. Still, I'm a little concerned about this build against the Assassins. I think they might do well to actually like set the entire board back a step even further and make sure the Assassins jump in on you. They've made some slight positioning adjustments, but I think the bigger part here is finding the 2-star Gyrocopter on this turn. We haven't been watching the shop too much recently because I think it's more down to positioning and how the fights are playing out at this point in the game. Right now, they're just rerolling for the Gyrocopter, and they did manage to find it, and that is a really huge change. Previously, Medusa was the big carry, dealing almost all the damage, and same with Timbersaw to an extent. And now the Gyrocopter's coming online here. We do see Martini, the Brawnies, getting eliminated in 3rd place. I really like that build. I think it was strong. You know, they got the 3-star Beastmaster early, got a lot of Brawny kills, but unfortunately, it kind of like all their eggs in one basket, and if that basket gets hit by, you know, a Viper's Nether Toxin or Slark Disarm and just burns them down really quick, then that build can fall apart really quickly because the rest of their build doesn't do a whole terrible lot. So now they do actually set their build back just a little bit here now that they know they're going up against some Assassins, but Timbersaw in the back line to pick up these Assassins who jump in. Medusa has not cast her Stone Gaze just yet. Now she does. I think it's still in plenty of time here. Does hit most units. The Viper does jump away. So Viper's still alive, and he's going to be pumping out some good damage, and that may actually be enough. Still a 2-star Gyrocopter, so I wouldn't count him out. Nah, this Viper's not going to go down. This Viper's still at full HP. I think he can 1v3 here. I definitely do. Viper is just so tanky. He's got a BKB for some bonus attack damage. He's going to cast his Nether Toxin, which deals, you know, that's a 5-second root. It doesn't say it in the tooltip, but it's 5 seconds, so it's over 1,000 damage of magic damage. Roots the target, breaks them, and that's almost 100% uptime. So I think these fights are going to revolve around that Viper, and being able to catch him in, like, Medusa Stone Gaze is going to be really important. Or getting it hit randomly with a Doom is also going to be important to these fights. That being said, Nexus does find the 3-star Queen of Pain. I was going to say they still have room for upgrades. I know they were 1 away from Queen of Pain, and they still are at level 9 as opposed to level 10. So this could go either way, really. It was a pretty close fight, and I think the Assassins are a little bit favored right now. The Medusa actually gets burst down before she gets her ult off, or she got it off, but it didn't stun anybody. The Timbersaw only gets one spin off, and it looks like it's going to die just now. The Viper, still at full HP. Queen of Pain, still at mostly full HP. Yeah, these fights are going to go the way that Viper and Queen of Pain go. If Viper's essentially untouched, then things are looking really good. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a problem here. You may even consider, seeing the Medusa got burst down so quickly there, you may even consider moving this Aeon Disc back to the Medusa. We actually see them selling off these Dooms. I wasn't watching the shop because I don't know exactly what they're rerolling for. But my thought is that they're probably rerolling for a second Medusa, right? The idea is that if you can find a second Medusa, you get a second chance at that Stone Gaze, and if a Stone Gaze completes against these assassins, it is so powerful. So a lot of this fight comes down to, like, how does Medusa work? Medusa does catch the Viper this time. Oh no, he's BKB'd it. It doesn't pierce BKB. So this Viper is actually just, like, pretty hard to take down. He is right in the middle, so he is getting hit a little bit, but not nearly enough, and it looks like the assassins are going to dethrone the Scrappies as the winning build this game. So many of our games so far today in this tournament have been won by Scrappies. They are one of the most powerful meta compositions, but a well-crafted assassin build can definitely take them down. Viper 3-star, Queen of Pain 3-star are absolutely terrifying, especially when you're trying to rely on these BKBs that, we're trying to rely on other CCs that they can just completely ignore thanks to Black King Bar, letting them become magic immune right at the start of the fight. That's not to mention the 2-star Faceless Void and 2-star Slark also doing a lot of carrying. So congrats to Nexus for winning this game in the ESL Mobile Open closed qualifiers. Oh, Mobile Open / closed qualifiers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. All right, we're back. It was an interesting game. I mean we picked Potty Panda, which was like probably running a, yeah, I'm not gonna say boring Scrappies, but there's some other interesting builds out there that I would have kind of liked to cover. But of course we were doing the strategy where we mainly focus on one player for that game, and I think it went pretty well. Didn't really need to swap too much. I think I would have kind of liked to go a little bit more into the early shops, just a little bit, and see what they were up to. I think that's what I'll probably do going forward is look a little bit more at their early game shops, but yeah, it worked well. Whew. He just needed one more round. He was going to level to 10 for 6 Warriors, 4 Warlocks. Oof. Yeah, it would have been a pretty good build. Obviously, you had the 1-star Troll Warlord was just not enough to really put you over the edge against 2-star Medusa. That's pretty strong. I missed earlier from Dane. What was the Pierce bonus? So the Pierce bonus comes from Gyrocopter. So attacks from Deadeye units pierce their main target. So it deals 75% of their damage to the unit directly behind them. So, you know, if you're attacking the unit behind it also takes almost as much damage when you have the Ace of Deadeye. So it kind of like doubles the damage output. Well, you know, 1.75 the damage output. Alright, players taking a little bit of a break here. I'm going to at least stand up. After I won't like walk too far away. I'm just going to stand up, stretch, lean on the back of my chair. Always good to get up and stretch and move. Oh. I like the Assassin build. I really liked Martini's build as well. The Brawnies and Beastmaster. I love seeing Beastmasters. One of my favorite units, and Legion Commanders, but Legion Commander didn't quite work out that game. It was a pretty diverse one in terms of like different strategies represented. I was kind of surprised. I'm gonna learn that you need way more than a 2-star Batrider Knights. You need a 2-star Batrider and a 2-star Chaos Knight. That's what you need. Finally, the dumb Scrappies die. Yeah. I mean, hey, they put up a good fight, but they did lose in the end to some assassins. I said right at the start of that game that assassins do have the advantage against Scrappies for a lot of the game. Scrappies have a bit easier path to stronger late game, Scrappies just need a 2-star Medusa, 2-star Gyrocopter to have a very strong late game. Whereas Assassins need a 3-star Viper, Queen of Pain, Ember Spirit, etc. They need a 3-star, whereas Scrappies just need 2 stars. Yeah, they're cheaper units and whatnot, but the difference here is, was like, the Assassins, like, at equal power in terms of, like, do you hit your upgrades that you need, which for Assassins is 3 stars and for Scrappies is 2 stars. Assassins are better. Just, like, on equal power level, Assassins are better. BKB also helped a whole lot, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna be a little more engaging in chat rather than solely focusing on the players there. You know, I think I got that one good cast game that I can put that up as a video. All right, so we're gonna follow Nexus here, just because Nexus won the previous game, so we gotta give some attention to the winners. Sorry, got distracted. Just like zoned out for a second here. So Nexus is opting to pick up the Crystal Maiden. That's weird. I don't even think Crystal Maiden's good as a 1-star unit on turn 1. He's picking up the Enchantress. I feel like I would just sell Crystal Maiden for Snapfire. Yep, there we go. Called it. Is the option to make a big-time contract Glow's Haste or Voidstone here? Choosing for Voidstone, the idea that Voidstone is good in a lot of different comps. Goes well into Necrophos and Tinker are 2 particularly powerful options. There's a Weaver here for insects. That's on easy pickup. There's also a Venomancer, an Axe that I like. I like Venomancer because it keeps your options open, and I'm just a sucker for like Savage Warlocks. I think Savage Warlocks are like my favorite comp. Taking the reroll, from the Drow. There's a Clockwork and a Bounty Hunter, and you already have Weaver. I don't know. I'm forcing boring Scrappies with this. I feel like I just force Scrappies if you already have the Clockwork, the Bounty Hunter, the Insects. Like, just do it. There's also a Drow Ranger in the pack. Yeah, just sell the Axe, grab the Bounty. Yep, perfect. Exactly what I would do. In before boring Scrappies. This is what I get for saying I'm going to force follow whoever won the previous game. They won the game, they're like, alright, I'm going to go back to the old faithful, old Scrappies. Which is fair. Yeah, pretty good. Clockwork's voiceover line. I can't wait to hurt something. This build is really strong right now. The insects are very powerful, but they're running up against some warriors. Who also has Slarder, who's applied a Corrosive Haze to your Scrappies, and these insects are not quite getting the job done. I think nope, they don't even kill the Slarder off. 22 HP. I still can't believe there was that fight last game that literally ended with 1 HP. The 1 HP Earth Spirit. I've never seen that. That's crazy. I didn't like. I kind of like was freaking out about it, but like. I feel like I should freak out more. No one's ready for that. Yeah, 2-star Tusk. 2-star Tusk is very, very strong. That's why, like, in an even fight where it's like everyone has the same star levels, the Scrappies insects usually win that. But Two-star Tusk. He is a one-punch man. This two-star Snapfire over here, not nearly as scary as the Tusk, I don't think. Well, it still is probably going to be enough here. Oh yeah. To had the 1-star, 1 HP Earth Spirit. Oh, it was so good. I was very happy that I got to see an actual 1 HP win. I've never seen that before, and I've played a lot of Underlords, and I think the closest I've ever seen was like I've seen a 2 HP win. I'm pretty sure I've seen a 2 HP win. I don't know if I've ever seen a 1 HP win. I definitely have seen I think I've definitely seen single-digit HP. I'm not sure if I've seen actual 2. I've seen single-digit HP wins. But 1. The actual closest it can ever be. It's good. Alright, so Nexus is a little bit worse for wear here. I wasn't looking at their shop the past couple rounds. That's because I kind of know what they're going to do. Taking a little bit of a lost streak here. Going for a scrappy build, which, like, so is everybody else. Pretty much the industry standard at this point. Item choice, meh. I hate all these items. I just reroll this pack. That's something they should add. They should add item rerolls. Why is there, like, okay, I guess this is probably the better pick. Morbid Mask, yeah, Weaver, wonderful, life-stealing Weaver. Oh my god, I love Martini's build here. 2-star Starter, 2-star Tusk, 2-star Tiny. Oh boy. Item reroll would be great. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, on one hand, it gets a little bit like, oh, you can just like force same item, but I agree. I think some level of control over the items you get, like not like complete control, but like a reroll level, I think would be fine. It would fit the theme of the game. It's about rerolling. And like you're on the risk. Like, what if like I reroll these ones and I get even worse items? You know, like could I take the mediocre item I'm offered now, or do I like? It's like the reroll at the start of knockout mode. Like, do I take this okay combo, or do I hope to hit the high roll? You know, I could see it. Anyway, I'm in love with Martini's build here. I've been like an advocate for like a warrior core build for a while. Like I made my top 5 build article recently, and I was really close to putting in a warrior build into it, like a 3 warrior core. I didn't, but like I was close to saying that was like a top build, because like I firmly believe that like Slarder Tiny Tusk as a 3 unit base is really, really strong. Like overly strong. Screw it, I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna follow Martini. We haven't talked about Martini because he doesn't want any games today. But I like this build a lot. I just think this core is so powerful. I'm not sure that I agree with Tusk with the chainmail. I know he has more HP. I think I tend to put chainmail on Tiny just because I don't care if Tiny dies after his first toss, whereas like Tusk has better damage in the longer fights. I guess Tiny actually has higher DPS somehow. That is right. I don't know. Realistically, I'd put it on Starter, but Starter's got a Deso. Deso plus Corrosive Phase, like his target just has like negative a million armor. Minus 21 armor. Doing so much bonus damage. Yeah, Slarder, Tiny, Tusk. Throw in Weaver and Nyx Assassin for even more insect power. And yeah, Martini's completed a win streak here. Yeah, just like one reroll. Yeah, I'm thinking like a reroll like at the start of knockout mode, right? Where you get your one reroll and then you're stuck with it, right? I think that would be fine. I wouldn't want too much more than that. People like propose like, oh, you can reroll with gold your items, and I'm like, ugh, no, that would like be like too easy to force the exact item you want. You know, it just takes you a couple gold to reroll. If it's just like once per choice, like I can see it. I can see that. Just because like it feels so bad when you're like, oh, I got a Desolator. And then you're like, I got to pick a Morbid Mask or a Force Staff. You know, not the Morbid Mask is horrible, but like, it's no Desolator. Yeah. I'm very curious to see where Martini takes this build, because I've known that this like Warrior Core is very strong. I'm just curious like where you build this, because it's so flexible. It takes up 3 slots, gives you branches into Savages with Tusk, and like just like Warlocks in general are strong. Is very useful when paired up with like Treant and Druids and healing effects. Somebody didn't pick Hobkin. Even the bots are in on Enno plan. Even the bots know that Enno is good. Sleep has picked up Let's Go Crazy, which I guess makes sense because they're running a Savage build. Savage makes sense for Let's Go Crazy Hobkin, but even so, Enno's good. Morbid Mask can be good. Force and Lifesteal. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if they're the right units for it. I think Morbid Mask is like good on Slarter, right? Like, I think it's good on Slarter. I think it's good on Tusk. I think it's good on Juggernaut. I'm just naming units that I see on the board because that's what I can think of right now. I think it's good on, you know, just like units that have high attack damage. You know, I mean, Nyx Assassin-ish. Not really. Just like units that are just like in combat and attacking for lots of damage, right? They don't need to be your biggest carry. They don't need to be guys like Lifestealer, who like already has his own healing built in. Just like somebody who's gonna take some damage and be able to heal up. That's what I think. I mean, I saw like last time I watched Natalie play. Natalie picked Morbid Mask pretty highly, and Natalie, for those you don't know, is like the rank 1 player, just like highest MMR by far. Isn't even listed on leaderboard anymore, I don't think, because I don't think Natalie's played enough in the recent days. But like, definitely like the best player. Yeah, isn't even listed on leaderboard. But a very, very good player picks it very highly, and I was just a little. I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, figure out why, and you know, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to it. It's Martini is just clowning on some fools here. Well, it was Ricardo Bot, so I guess everybody clowns on Ricardo Bot, except one. Ricardo Bot got a win more recently than not. Doesn't have a losing streak. So must have got a win fairly recently. That's something. So yeah, going into like Druid Savages, which is kind of where I was saying, you know, you got the links into Savages with the Tusk. And then Druids are just great in general. You know, Enchantress, not really that great. But Treant's that great. Got Shadow Fiend, because this build kind of lacks some damage output come the later game. Shadow Fiend does a lot of damage, so always happy to pick that one up. I think that Tusk got a bonus gold. I saw it pop a bonus gold with the Hand of Midas. That's pretty nice. That's nice. You know, who needs... Just need a bit more net worth. Literally, Martini has a 14 gold net worth on Pouty Panda. And like a 30 net worth lead on everybody else. On Blue, a 40 net worth lead on Gort. 30 on Sleep. I guess 20 on some of the other ones. But like, this is an impressive net worth lead. Yeah, and you can like you get to play Doom here. You can just go into like brutes, druids, savages, warlocks. There's like so many options of this build in the late game. Transition into 4-cost good stuff build. Like, I like this a lot. I really do. I think this build's sweet. Jeez. Completes a win streak and is just going to go on another one right away. Already have 5 wins in a row here. Going against Nexus, who we were originally following, running a, as expected, a boring, scrappy build. Yeah, boring, scrappy build's still good. But Nexus is just a little bit behind in getting level ups. I did see they picked up a 2-star Clockwork and a 2-star, 2-star something else on the bench. I didn't quite see. Picked up something, but they didn't have it in time. 2-star Clockwork, 2-star Bounty Hunter? Wow, yeah. Nexus does not have too many stars. Meanwhile, Martini is looking... Oh, that's a 2-star Shadow Fiend. That is huge. This guy is super big. I don't know how you fit him in. I mean, hey, just level Martini. What? No, just level up. What are you doing? I would have leveled here. I would have spent 30 gold to level. Lose 1 gold of interest to throw in a 2-star Shadow Fiend. I would have done it. But I'm pretty aggressive when it comes to rerolling, so. Oh, he's gonna get punished for it here. I think our team loses. Oh, no, never mind. Still insects. They don't even hit each other. Okay, okay, Martini does win against Lord Core. I'm like, that is really close. I thought they were going to get punished for it. I honestly did. Especially, oh, they were trying to complete a win streak too? Wait, did they complete one or just... Oh, they just continued it. I'm going to say, if that was already 7 wins trying to go for 8, you definitely spend the gold to level that turn. Get greedy. I definitely would put in a Shadow Fiend that last turn. No reason to risk it. There's a Doom, Venno, and a Jug. Not that important. Maybe Juggernaut if you're going for like 6 warriors. 6 warriors legit. I think Doom is not going to happen because they've already sold off their Doom. Yeah, I don't think Doom is where they're looking. I think they're looking at 6 warriors. 6 warriors plus warlocks. Like, it's not the biggest meta build, but like it's not bad. It does require like that you are a little bit ahead going into the mid and late game because like the build peaks early and like has some strength in the mid game, but like to get to the late game you need a 2-star Troll Warlord. Like you need 2-star Troll Warlord. More than Scrappy's need a 2-star Gyrocopter. You need a 2-star Troll Warlord. And honestly, like 2-star Shadow Fiend as well, and Disruptor to make it work. And you need levels too, so you really need to be ahead in the mid game, which the build can do and is doing, but also like certainly it was no guarantee they'd get to this point. Okay, so Martinez completed 2 win streaks in a row. Now has 206 gold net worth. It's pretty impressive. Pretty good. Warriors are strong. I like warriors. That's my hard-hitting commentary here. 4 hours into the stream. I like Warriors. 5 games in. That's all I can muster. Which is weird, because, like, in other games, I don't like Warriors. Like, in, like RPGs, like, or MMOs like WoW, like World of Warcraft, like, I don't like Warriors. It's just like not interesting to me. But in Underlords, Warriors are good. I mean, I like Beastmaster too, and I like a lot of units in Underlords, to be fair. I just find it unusual for like my preferences that I normally don't care for Warriors. Oh, it's gonna be a loss here. Oh, this is a loss. Where is it? Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, no, Martine, he loses. No, rip the perfect game. Rip. That sucks. Just had a game where you only played Spirits was getting 4 to 6 Delta Slams. Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah, so Spirits, really good if you have more than 3 of them. I've seen a lot of people who are just like, oh yeah, I'll play Spirits, and then they play 3 Spirits, and then they like don't get a Delta Slam off. I'm like, this alliance sucks. And I'm like, that's because you're playing them wrong. Like, they're weird because every other alliance in the game is like, you want to play the bare minimum, right? You want to play exactly 3 warriors. If you're playing 4 warriors, you're doing something wrong. Same with healers, for instance, right? If you're playing healers, that is a 3-unit alliance. You get 3, and then you're like, no more healers. I don't need to play a 4th. That just is overkill. You can use it on something else. That's a mindset a lot of people are in, and for good reason, because it's valid for every alliance in the game, except Spirits. It's not good with Spirits. So in Spirits' case, you actually just want to play as many as possible, right? You want to play 4, 5, 6 Spirits if you can. Preferably as many 2-star as possible to keep them survivable. We're going to take a brief interlude from It's Martine here to take a look at Sleep, and hope that Sleep doesn't get eliminated before Ricardo Bot. Sleep, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you going to lose to Ricardo Bot? Is that where we're at in this game? No, you're going to win this round, okay. You're good. You're good. I was going to be real embarrassed if you lost to Ricardo Bot. Not saying you're going to finish too highly in this game. You are down to 4 life. But Ricardo Bot gets eliminated in 8th place. You survived to fight another round. But only barely. Don't know what you're doing yet. Been there. 2 disruptors? Oh wait, what? Say what now? Martine, when did this... I look away for 1 second, and you put in 2 disruptors? What? Okay. That's a thing that we had happen in our lives and we have to live with now. You gotta pick up the Mask Madness here, right? Yeah, this is like prepping for Troll Warlord. This is like the Troll Warlord waiting room right here. Wow. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is... Yep, there's the Troll Warlord. Easy game, easy life. This is the 3 warrior, 4 warlocks, just Troll Warlord game. There's the Witch Doctor. Throw that in over Venomancer. Screw it, you don't need Savages. Whatever. Yeah. This is how to high roll by It's Martini. I mean, it also was just like running a really good comp from the start and like completed 2 win streaks in a row. So like, no surprise. Actually gonna take a loss here against Assassins. No damage output left. Take a big loss to Assassins. Oh my gosh. 14 damage. Lord Gort doing the beatdowns on the Martini. Fortunately, Sleep gets to go to sleep a little bit early today. It's knocked down in 7th place. Rip. I have an emote for this moment for Sleep. Yeah. Rip. Lone Druid got doomed. Oof. What is that? That is a big oof. Oh, there we go. Would have saved that round if you got the bear. Ooh, that's rough. Doom is such like a high rolly kind of character. I mean, I love Doom. I think he's a great character. I think it's a great design. I like having somebody like Doom in the game. I think it's important to have like a single target, like heavy single target lockdown to prevent like super carries. But yeah, Doom is leads himself to some high rolly situations for sure. Oh my goodness. Martini's just like styling on us. Like, I'm not even in the game and I feel like he's just like styling on me. He's just gonna level to 10 on round 23. Just like not a care in the world and still like has almost full interest. This is crazy. Yeah, just throw in the 4 warriors and warlocks here. Warriors and warlocks. This is how you draw it up. Trying to find Alchemist to replace the Venno. Venno provides 2 alliances here. Yeah, at this point, you know, he's got a 10% odds on finding ace units. So it's like Disruptor, Troll Warlord are just gonna like guarantee be 2-star, and it's just gonna be a laugher. I'm kind of glad I didn't like try to record this game to put as a video, because like, I mean, while this is cool that this build is just like styling on everybody, like, it's gonna be like, the game is over. I think Martini's won. Might lose this round, but like, no one can compete with this in the late game, right? Right? God, I'm gonna look so bad when Martini loses this game. And here I'm just like saying the game's over, pack it in. There's Kunkka. I mean, to be fair, he's running a 1-star Kunkka, 1-star Disruptor, 1-star Troll, and 1-star Venno Witch Doctor. Like, these are gonna, like, he's gonna find these, right? Use the free reroll, why not? Oh wait, are you thinking about trying to play Faceless Void here? You're trying to play Juggernaut? No. Okay. I mean, I could see an argument if we're trying to play Juggernaut over, like, Tiny. Or over Pudge. I could see that argument. Maybe he's thinking, like, okay, the odds of me trying to, like, that's, like, one of those micro decision points. Like, it's not, like, the biggest decision point ever, but, like, deciding to buy the unit or use the reroll before combat. Like, here, obviously, didn't work out. To level up, or sorry, to reroll before combat, because they didn't find the upgrade. But that was the idea, at least. Alright, Martini's starting to lose, but like, I still don't want to bet against them. This is depressing, trying to go for the build edge matches. Well, see, you missed the key part where you didn't go on 2 consecutive win streaks. You needed to start 16-0 in rounds. If you start 16-0, then you have enough gold and life total to weather this kind of weak point as you force level to 10. The problem is if you don't have this dominant early and mid game, which Martini did, but if you don't have a dominant early and mid game, you fall behind pretty hard. And you don't have life total to get to level 10. This build relies on level 10. You need level 10. Not level 9, which Scrappy's can get away with level 9. You need level 10. And so if you don't have a dominant early mid game, this build's bad. This build is bad if you don't have a dominant game. But if you do have a dominant game, it's really good. So it's like, you know, what are you going to do? HTPG gets eliminated in 6th place despite having a 3-star sniper. They had a 3-star sniper get on 6th. That feels bad, man. Doesn't have 6 scrappies, doesn't have gyrocopter, so yeah, you need the gyrocopter to make your 3-star sniper that good. Ugh. I mean, mechanism's fine, but these other item choices suck. For this build, you don't need Ive Scotty. Skullbasher has like some utility, but like, come on, it's gotta be mechanism. Yeah, 2 players eliminated so far. 1 Scrappy, 1 Savage Warriors. Lord Ward's still sticking around here with the 2-star Slark with the Mask of Madness. And then 3 Scrappy players, and of course our Troll Warlord Disruptor build. Like, come on, this is the has 2 2-star aces, still rocking 1-star on Venom Witch Doctor. Oh my god, 3-star Kunkka, please! I want to see a 3-star Kunkka so bad. 3-star Kunkka's great. If you haven't seen him, he his ghost ship hits 1 more cell in radius. Normally it's just like a, you know, it's a smaller size. The Kunkka ghost, the bigger one, is the size of Alchemist's acid spray. It just hits everybody. It's a thing of beauty. It is absolutely a thing of beauty. I think Pouty Panda wins this. What am I saying? Troll Warlord's still alive. We're good. It was kind of a narrow victory, though. I think Pouty Panda might have a chance in the long run here. These scrappy builds are coming online faster than I normally expect them to. Well, they're not at 2-star Gyros or 2-star Medusa. This warrior build is going to start sucking in a moment. Uh-oh. Doesn't have a 2-star Witch Doctor, but like, that was close. And these scrappies don't have 2-star Gyrocopter or 2-star Medusa yet. When they do, that's not going to be good for the Warriors. That is not going to be good for Warriors at all. Question is, can Martini get enough work done in the meantime? Pouty Panda finds the 2-star Gyrocopter and the 2-star Sand King. Oh god. Remember when I said I look stupid when Martini loses this game? Feeling pretty stupid right about now. Gonna need a bigger boat, yeah. It gets crazy, like with 3-star Kunkka. I've seen it once or twice. Yeah, probably more than that. I've seen it quite a number of times in my time playing Underlord / Auto Chess. It's a good one. It is a good one. Alright, so our team does go up against Nexus here, who also has a 2-star Gyrocopter. So a little skeptical though. The Tiny Toss was huge. Tiny Toss just threw Clockwork in the back. Clockwork is just irrelevant here. Kunkka's gonna get a second boat off, which seems pretty good. Oh, he did, and he got interrupted. He finally does. It's not amazing. Lord Gord unfortunately bites the dust. And it does look like Scrappy's are gonna be, or the Scrappies are gonna go down just a little bit here. Tiny Survivs at 4 HP. It doesn't even deal damage. Never mind. It doesn't matter. So it's Warriors and Warlocks versus all the Scraps. Another 2-star Disruptor. That's funny. That is funny. Is this a 3-star disruptor coming up? It doesn't increase in size, but it does increase in duration. I can't wait to see a 3-star disruptor. I don't think I've never personally had a 3-star ace unit in a regular game. Oh my god, there's another disruptor in the shop. Oh boy. Okay. The problem is there's a disruptor on somebody else's board. So Nexus needs to be eliminated. Like there's 10 disruptors in the game. And so if Nexus takes another one, it's not possible for Martini to get it. But if Nexus doesn't, I can't wait to see this. Your luck ran out, Lord Gort. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It yeah, happens. The assassins, man, like, that's what I'm saying. The assassins are such a high roll comp, right? If they work, they're insane. If they don't work, like, they are high rolly, like no matter what, because they are reliant on getting crits. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. Come on, I want to see a 3-star disruptor. Gotta be looking around and seeing if anybody else picks up another disruptor, because otherwise it's not possible. Pouty Panda and Blue should definitely be picking up disruptors if they can find them in their shops.
I will kill them.
Just to like deny them from Martini. I mean, I want to see disruptor, but I'm sure they don't want to see a 3-star disruptor. Did I bug it out? Looks like I bugged out something by clicking around as combat started. So we don't get to see this combat this round. That's fun. So instead we get just to speculate on what happened. Hopefully this picks up or like reconnects for next prep phase. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. A little bit delayed. Martini does take a loss to Nexus, unfortunately. So does Cost Blue takes a loss to Pouty Panda here. That's kind of weird. I think that was just on my end because I was clicking around here. Viewing the match got disrupted. Yes, my viewing of the match definitely got disrupted there. Good call. Heart of Tarask coming out. If that Heart of Tarask comes out on a 3-star disruptor, that'd be pretty bonkers. Where does it go now, though? It goes on like Kunkka? Okay, Kunkka can get like 2 or 3 boats off now. Still, I'd much rather be on the Bloodthorn side. I'd much rather be on the Scrappy side at this point, where they've got, you know, the Scrappies are getting these Gyrocopters and Medusas in line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the 10 Gyrocopters have been picked up, so Cost Blue is in bad shape to try to find a 2-star Gyro. Until one of these other ones gets eliminated. Martini up against Pouty Panda, probably the biggest competition right now is the Pouty Panda for highest life total for sure, at least against Martini. And despite the dominant game that Martini's had, this is falling apart against these Scrappies. This late game for these Warriors is just not good. Cost Blue was eliminated by Nexus. Martini gets a big chunk taken on by Pouty Panda. And like, this is the problem with the Warrior build. So, Warriors have really strong early game, really strong mid game. Okay-ish late game if they've already won the early and mid game so hard. But then by late game, they're like, okay, I got my 2-star Troll Warlord. And then nothing. Like, after you get a 2-star Troll Warlord, you got nothing more to do. Like, your build cannot improve from here. Okay, I stand corrected. A 3-star Shadow Fiend. You know, I think you just got 3 all in one turn. I didn't check it all, but, like, I'm pretty sure you just got 3 in one turn. You have to go back and watch that, but I'm pretty sure that was 3 Shadow Fiends in one turn. To find that level up. So, okay, that's a big improvement. I wasn't really anticipating that. Looks like Martini's going to take its win here on the back of the Shadow Fiend, but even so, it's like, that was unexpected. That was unexpected. I was just going on about how there's so hard to find any upgrades here, and it was a good 3 Shadow Fiends at one turn. Alright, fair enough. And didn't even reroll down to 0. Still has 20 gold left. plenty of time to find this 3-star disruptor. I want to just watch the shop because I want to find a 3-star disruptor. So that is what I live for here, is a 3-star disruptor. Do it. Just do it. Yes, they're rerolling down below 30. More. They're not going to go below 20. Oh, they are going to go below 20. Nice. There's one. They're not going to go below 10. That's fine. That's fine. Staying at 14. Buy the disruptor. And then next turn, incoming 3-star disruptor. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I've never seen a 3-star ace unit in a real game. Oh, I think I've played against one, actually. I've never personally had one. But if there's ever a game to go for it, one where you complete 2 win streaks and then just need a better late game, this would be the time to do it. This would definitely be the time to do it. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I just hope it's just like naturally just here in the next pack. There it is! Oh my god, it's just naturally here in the next pack! There we go. There we go. 3-star disruptor. I can't believe it's just there. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so what do you even do with this? Like, what? How short is the cooldown on this guy's ability? 9 seconds for a 5-second silence. He needs to be in the front line. Why is he off to the side? He's taking too long to cast. He's not gonna... Just throw him up front. Oh my goodness. This is great. This is wonderful. It's like... It's not even doing that much. Like, okay, it's doing some reasonable stuff, I guess. But, like... It could have done more. Could have been up... I mean... Maybe I'm like, you know, nitpicking the 3-star disruptor, but like, I'd put him up in the front line. I don't know. I'd put him like right here, right in front of Tusk, and move Tusk over to the right. So I would do. But I wouldn't have had a 3-star disruptor because I wouldn't have gone for it, and I wouldn't have got it even if I did go for it. So there's that. There we go. Alright, it's kind of up front now. It's up front-ish. Oh, actually, this is a good targeting position against the Sand King. Ooh, good ult. Silencing the Enno, holding down Enno is good. Oh, that's a big disruptor ult. Hits their whole backline. 5 seconds, just so long. And it's back up again. It's just like, it never stops. Never stops. Ah, the 3-star disruptor. The 3-star disruptor is here. And it wins. It had to win. It had to win. Whoo, boy. Man. What a game, huh? It's Martini taking a well-deserved win here. Completed 2 win streaks in a row. Went 16-0 to start the game. Leveled up to 10 very quickly, which is what is required in this build. Then things were looking pretty scary as the Scrappies started getting their gyrocopters and Medusas online. And Troll Whirler was just not cutting it. And then a 3-star disruptor comes on. I mean, the Shadow Fiend really turned it and probably could have won without it, but yeah, 3-star disruptor. Pretty good. Pretty good. That was a treat. That was a real treat to see. I didn't actually see the net worth, but it was probably insane because he didn't actually reroll all that much. That was pretty crazy. I was very, very impressed. 337 net worth. Yikes. The second place net worth is probably a little bit misleading. I think. Because I think when you die, it like subtracts out the value of your board. Because it deletes your units. And so I think it subtracts that out. So it's like much lower than it seems. But still 337 is pretty good as far as net worths go. So yeah, so that was the ESL Mobile Open. This is the second week of the closed qualifiers. So there's one more round of tournaments tomorrow. I will not be casting it, but I'm sure there'll be some other streamers over on Twitch casting. I think, not positive. And then starting next week, they'll have the Phase 3, which is like even more closed. And I won't be casting any more of the ESL tournament. I'll be putting up a video from this stream, and then I'll be making a video recapping the Phase 3 results. So I'll be watching them. So whenever they're casting, I don't know who's gonna be casting that, but I think it'll be like on the on ESL channel, not like my channel or somebody else's. So I'll be watching those for sure, and taking notes, and also make like a video recap of them, talking about the results, who did well, and who's moved on to the grand finals. And then hopefully also, I don't know when exactly that's going to come, but hopefully it'll be results from after the new rotation when Season 1 releases. I'll have to check the dates on that. But no more casting the tournament for me. In the meantime, I'll be working on some other videos, and I'll try to put out some content here and there in terms of like daily gameplay videos, but it won't be daily like I've done in the past. I've been taking a little bit more time, kind of, I'll call it on break, I guess. Taking a little bit more time to focus on myself, my mental health, just like my general well-being, and like doing other activities that are not directly Underlords related, because I've kind of been like non-stop Underlordsing since it came out, really. And so with the imminent release and like a lot of things going to be changed up in the next week or two, I've been taking a little bit of time to just kind of collect myself. I'm not like quitting Underlords by any means, or like looking at, trying to switch something else. It's just I'm literally just like I'm trying to preempt burnout and just trying to take some time for myself. That's why I've been a little bit lighter on content recently, the past 2 weeks or so. That kind of slower pace is probably going to continue until release on the 25th, and then at that point we'll pick it back up, go back in a high gear. I got a lot of cool content ideas planned for when release comes out, so I'm hopeful to be able to share all that with you then, and also get a little side project I'll be able to share at that time as well. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up, but just bear with me in terms of like content for the next week or so. But that's okay, because if I made anything, it'd probably be obsolete by the time within a week or so. So anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. It was a ton of fun. I'll be looking for some other casting opportunities as well. I think I'll be casting some other tournaments going forward, so it should be tons of fun. I really enjoy casting. I'm glad you guys enjoy it too. I think I'd like to, if Underlords does take off and finds a big tournament scene, I'd much rather be a caster than a player, if I'm being honest. And I think you guys would like that more too. And play occasionally, but I really enjoy casting. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to any of the new like subscribers, any new members of the channel, any donations that came in. I didn't have my notifications on, so I don't know if any of those did happen, but I appreciate everybody who does that. Everybody who supports me. It means a lot, and helps me to keep doing this kind of stuff. So see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a nice night. See ya.